Hi everyone. I am in my office. I've just got back from an exhausting day of driving and ferrying the kids around, dealing with California and COVID and all those things. And I've got about half an hour, and usually I would do this in private, but I kind of thought, let me show everyone like the real version, not the scripted version of what somatic meditation actually looks like and why I use it for moments like this. And moments like these are basically, I feel exhausted and there's kind of like a heaviness and a lack of energy, and kind of difficult to tell like what's exhausted, tired energy and what's depressed energy. I don't really try and figure out which one it is. I just think of it as heaviness. And world, please get away. I don't want to deal with anything at all. And so from this place, what do I do? And 20 years ago, I think I would have eaten, and that would have been my solution. It wasn't a particularly good one. And now I have different tools, and this is one of them. And when I hear meditation being spoken about out there, I often hear meditation being spoken about like having a morning practice, and that it's very mind-based, like people are either doing mantras or they're sort of focusing on the air by their nostrils, or the air coming in and out. But I see meditation really as a body practice, especially moments like this where I can feel like the underlying feelings of heaviness, for instance, that I'm like, I don't want to feel. But I've trained myself to drop straight into them and actually feel them. And so that's what I'm going to show you, what that looks like and why it's so handy. So rather than eating or drinking or I don't know, whatever you do to not feel, you do this instead. And I've just gotten on my sofa. And to get myself present, you can do a myriad of different practices, but the easiest one is just the senses, where I first pay attention to what I can hear, which is actually the sound machine outside of my office, because I switched that on. Less so that no one can hear me, and more so I don't hear my kids. And then what can I feel? So what can you feel? And I'm sitting on the sofa. I can feel the pillow behind my back, and I can feel my hand on my knee, and I can feel sort of my ankles on the sofa. And I quite like having my legs stretched out a little bit versus being cross-legged, because I kind of think it's easier to drop into the sensations when things are not in a pretzel-like formation. The energy flows better, in my opinion. And then just what can I see? And obviously my eyes are closed right now, but colours will often change. Right now I'd sort of give it a grey-green colour. What can I smell? And what can I taste? And already as I do this, I can kind of feel like the energy starting to sort of drop down in quite a pleasant way. And the feeling is, oh, thank goodness for that. I think it's just the stopping and the not having to push through. And I'm just allowing the heavy energy. I can feel like my arms are very heavy. So they're just, sort of feels like they're sort of being pulled down a bit. And then I can feel a lot of energy moving through my legs. And I know in my particular body, for whatever reason, things often get stuck in the legs. So this used to feel deeply unpleasant to me. In fact, it used to freak me out. And now, sort of like a shimmery, sometimes slightly electricity-like feeling at the back of my legs, sort of flowing down. And I kind of imagine that going out of the heels of my feet. Yeah, it's actually incredibly relaxing. And what I'm sort of really waiting for doing is just letting that, whatever those sensations are, sort of stream out my body. Because I used to sort of fight the heaviness either by eating or having an espresso or just pushing through. And now I've noticed over many years is that if you just let the heaviness push down and through, it will actually pass. And I'm aware that if there wasn't a camera on me, I would probably just lie down at this juncture, so I'll just see if I can do that. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see me. Oh yeah, I think you can still see me. So, yeah. And this position is interesting, so that inclination to do that, I can just feel like, oof, a lot of movement going at the back of my legs and out. And if I had to describe it, I'd sort of say it's like a shimmery, silvery type streaming, I guess. And what I've noticed is that the more I'm actually in the sensation, so the more I'm like in my legs and in my feet, like what are my feet feeling like? What is that shimmery, silvery, streaming? Where is it? How does it feel? The more I'm in my body, the more my mind quietens down completely, because it's hard to be totally in a sensation and thinking at the same time. And today, it just feels so nice to be able to do this. It feels like really, like a real relief. Like what I've kind of actually been wanting all day, but wasn't able to carve out the time. Or maybe just the stopping was difficult, I'm not sure. And not every time is it this easy or sort of pleasant. And I think what's difficult about teaching this work is that it's so bodily based. And when I say to clients, hey, you know, are you meditating? If they've got any kind of addictive processes, I'm meaning, hey, are you feeling into your physical sensations and doing this when they get unpleasant, which they do if you're doing some kind of behavior that you wish you'd stop, like you're doing it for a reason. So what's so mind-boggling to me is that I had so little energy when I started this, and sort of 5 minutes or whatever it is. Oh, it's 10 minutes. That's amazing. There's a lightness, like my eyes that felt really heavy when I started suddenly feel like they're more pigging open, kind of the way they do if you've had a good night's rest, and they just pop open and it's easy for them to open, which it wasn't 10 minutes ago. Anyway, I have no idea if I'm actually going to post this, but I wanted to show you how I actually use somatic meditation, what it actually looks like, not some sort of pretend version that I think is often shown. And the lying down piece, and how important that is to really feel all the streaming, which I have to be honest, years ago I couldn't feel. It was just a rigid block of steel, and it was very hard to feel any movement or sensations. So, but that's the work I teach. This is what I really think the world needs, and hopefully people will understand the importance of physical sensations soon enough. Okay, hope that was helpful. Bye.